everybody, welcome to another episode of Real Talks, where we ask real questions about real estate. And for the first time ever, we actually have a female co-host. We have Yumi Kim here with me today, who's got a question, I hope.
What do you do when you don't like your realtor?
This probably happens a lot, and this probably goes through a lot of people's mind. There's probably a couple things to do. Number one, before you choose your realtor, the biggest thing that I always tell people is interview as many agents as possible. I mean, 3 maybe. I think what I've found over the years is most people literally will go with the first person that gets referred over to them. They don't do background history in terms of what's their process, how many transactions they've done, if they do this full-time or part-time. They literally be like, oh, this person is nice, let me go use them. This person referred me over to them, why not? Mm-hmm. But I think you could vet a lot of this stuff out by literally just simply interviewing some agents. And you'll find very quickly, not all agents are created equal. I think what happens in, the life cycle of buyers going through a process, or even listing a house going through that process, is a lot of agents tend to overpromise and underdeliver, or a lot of people just don't know what is actually going to happen or what the agent is actually doing. So a lot of that can be explained during interview process, because I always say that's a two-way street. Client's interviewing us, we're interviewing the client. Do we want to work together? Majority of agents will not have their clients sign an agreement. And what I mean an agreement, like a buyer exclusive agreement, I know a standard practice for myself and my team, we do have our buyers sign an exclusive buyer agreement. It's probably very seldomly used in our industry. So that, depending on what that contract looks like, to get out of it, it could be difficult. I don't know. Everybody's is different. I do offer a cancellation guarantee with my buyers. So if I don't perform to what I say I'm going to do, fire me. And I don't ever want to get fired from my clients. Knock on wood, no client has fired me. I don't know how you feel about it. What do you think? Or what do you think a person could do if they don't like their agent? Have you come across that?
I agree. I do have a agreement that I also sign with my clients, so that they know exactly the type of partnership and agreement that we're committed to. I think it's always best to start off that way. And to me, it truly is a partnership, because you're in it together. You're experiencing it together, and you're supporting all along the way. However, we have a first meeting and we have an interview and an agreement, and it seems like a good fit, and if it feels right, it probably is right. But of course, it's just a small snapshot of when you actually get into the journey, any transactions, and there are challenges. There's so many emotions at play, and it's like a roller coaster, and it could bring the good and maybe not so good out of people. And the real estate transaction is one part of your life, and it can feel like it's everything, but you also have your own life, your own job, your own relationship, and etc. So it can be a lot, and maybe there are some clashes, or maybe there's some expectation differences in what the client may want from you, and vice versa, what an agent may want to see from the client. There's a lot of trust that needs to occur, and that trust can be tested depending on the scenario. So maybe, for example, the client feels like they're just not getting offers accepted, and as an agent, you tell them about the market and how tough it will be, but of course you have to go through it to really feel and kind of know it. And perhaps there's a little bit of letdown that a client may feel like, is the agent doing everything that they're saying that they're gonna do for us? why isn't it working, right? Because you could be doing everything right, especially in this market. It's so tough. So there can be maybe some like tension or some underlying like something left to be desired type of feeling. So have you ever sensed that from a client? Like they said something or they did something that they didn't kind of talk to you about first?
So yeah, that's like it's literally a point in one of my slides on my presentation is with like the agent client relationship. One of the biggest things that I hone in on is communication. So, and literally the line that I use every single time with the clients in the presentation is, look, we're able to do really great things in this business, but still one thing that I have not been able to master or even come close to is I cannot read what is going on inside your head. So in order for me to be the best at my job, I really need to know what's going on with what you're thinking, or whoever like if it's 2 people, 3 people, I need to know what everybody is thinking, because if I know what you're thinking, then I can guide you and I can navigate you to like greener pastures, right? Because if our focus is 3 bedrooms, 2 baths in, city A, but you're thinking 3 bedrooms, 2 baths in city B, how can I do my job effectively if you haven't told me that? And one of the biggest things that I always like relay back to people is like, if you ever look at relationships that you've had in the past or in the present, like the good relationships, you always have really good communication. The bad relationships, you have bad communication. Either one person is thinking one thing and they don't say something, the other person is like off in la la land and you guys aren't connected. You guys aren't on the same page is what I always say. So the better you can get at being on the same page, this is just like any other relationship I always say is, the more in sync everybody is, the better you guys will be, the better the transaction will be, the funner the process will be as well too. Yeah.
Yep, I agree totally. It's a collaboration. But I think it's also creating the space for that, right? Like this industry and also the market right now is just so fast paced that it's go, 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 go. It's submit an offer, rejected, submit, go look at properties. And it feels like there's no real like break. So maybe sometimes it's about just checking in, really just kind of talking about how is it that you're feeling, because I find that I'm having to do that more with my clients because we really kind of need to tap into the emotion and the human aspect of it, because it's not as straightforward maybe as it is in other market conditions. So communication is the big takeaway. I think creating that space for it, and also just I think being really straightforward, like if it's a reciprocal thing, if there's any feeling of maybe I want more out of this from my agent, then personally, I welcome that. I want to hear it. I want to know how I can be better for my client and provide that total experience. It should be comfortable where it can be and fun where it can be. And of course, it's going to be challenging where, that can't be helped, but that's how we work together to get and push past those.
Yep. So ultimately, hopefully you never have to fire agents, but at the same time, every client has certain expectations, wants, and needs. I think if both parties agree to what each party wants, how an agent does their business compared to another agent as well too. There's so many moving components to it, but realistically, it's just communication at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think this conversation has been about like how we communicate and overcome, but at the end of the day, you'd say you do that and it still doesn't improve, it doesn't go anywhere, then you know what, I say
it might not be the right fit.
Yeah. And that's okay too, right? Because you may not be the right fit for everyone.
Well, I appreciate you guys all being on this week's episode. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave them below. And as always, what do they need to do?
Communicate.
Smash that like button.
Smash the like button.
See you guys next time.